Alright, welcome guys to the whatever episode that we're on, number 2. I can already count. This is the Capital
It's
Region
two, right?
Smash
Melee two?
podcast for Melee. Just so you know, this is bi-weekly. We switch games each week. We're going to be doing Melee every other week, Smash 4 every other week. That's how it works. So next week is Smash 4. Today we're going to do the PR reveal for Melee, and that should be cool, I guess. And then we're going to talk about the Arcadian. And if anybody's interested in like calling in or anything like last time, then we'll do that too. So, might as well
So
start.
yeah, I've been waiting long enough. I want to hear about this power ranking. So tell me about it, Adam. Tell me about the first guy.
Well, starting with some honorable mention stuff. We took inactivity into account with the PR. So, as a result, if people didn't go to many tournaments, then well, we can't really rank you. Billy, you should probably be able to explain that the most because you care so much about inactivity.
Yes, I am the biggest crusader for activity. Like I blow people up if they don't show up to things. I definitely put RPI on blast many times, which is why many of these honorable mention people are RPI. You could even call them like RPI hidden bosses if you wanted, I suppose. Because some of them are pretty good. Like they're definitely like as good, if not maybe better than people in the power rankings. But yeah, we took that very seriously this time.
Yeah, well, first, the most obvious honorable mention is Brolita, PG player. Um, he might call himself second at RPI right now, but he has some results that kind of line up with that. Maybe like one loss, like the first set that he had in his comeback of 3 tournaments that he went to. Like the first match he lost to Beetle, but then after that, yeah, he took some names.
Yeah,
Close
he did take a
everybody.
set off big.
Yeah.
Took a set off big, which was pretty good. He played everyone in the top 10 except me, as he said. So I think he has at least one match against most of those people. I don't know if he played Darwin actually, but definitely you, Spike,
Yeah, you're right.
myself.
He didn't play Darwin,
Uh,
but like he beat Code Man. He went 1-1 with Man Cow and Pig. I don't think he played
I think
GSO
he did play
in
Sand,
a set.
no GSO either. So he did play a decent amount of people in the top 10, people in the range he would be. However, based on his lack of attendance and kind of like the high variance of what he showed that he was able to do, we felt it'd be better if he was not on the actual PR, but definitely an honorable mention because he's up there.
Yeah.
So then you want me to go next?
Yeah, we might as well alternate.
Next guy, another person who historically has been one of the best, if not second best at RPI. It's got to be Lightning. Long time Marth player in Capital Region, been playing for like I think a couple years at least now, and definitely pretty good. We saw him not show up that much this season though, unfortunately. Again, only 3 events, similar to Brolita, slightly better I suppose, but he went to a couple, 2 or 3 events early on, like I think a weekly, and then one of the bigger things, and maybe something else, and he had decent results. Like he definitely wasn't losing to anyone he wasn't supposed to, and he wasn't beating like anyone too good either. So I guess like not as much variance as Corey, like consistently placing like roughly like what, like fifth, if not a little higher, you think?
Well, yeah, but like when talking about variance with only a few tournaments that you go to, it's
Yeah,
really
that's the
only
thing.
that one
Like,
set.
yeah, so he didn't have anything crazy happen in his little time tournaments he attended. He did show up like the last week of the season, or his last tournament. So it was what, last Thursday, I think,
Yeah,
and he
he showed
beat
up to like
like
one per month.
Mancow and yeah, pretty much one per month, right? And a couple other people. So definitely, once again, another guy who showed he could be on there, but just didn't show up to quite enough for us to really justify him on there. Like we didn't really see like he didn't stand the test of like, all right, can you show that you can beat them like 6 times, 8 times, like more than that? But yeah, so Lightning is second honorable mention. Do you want to talk about the third,
Yeah,
arguably most controversial one?
arguably. I mean, I
Arguably,
guess it
yeah.
is. Well, so Spike is our other honorable mention, making up the honorable mention trifecta of RPI with Lightning and Brolita. So Spike went to as many tournaments as Lightning as well, and although he did really well with like what we saw of him, it's hard to tell exactly where he is. And like putting him in that, say, what we were talking about last week with 3 to 6 range, like he just doesn't have enough data overall to place him anywhere solidly. And like he has his wins that count. He won one of the monthlies at RPI, and he has a record over me. Like he hasn't dropped a set
Record
to
over
me.
myself.
And then he has dropped a set to Pig, and he hasn't beaten GSO. So like he does well, but like he just has a little puck problem too. We just haven't seen him.
Definitely the most honorable mention by far.
Yeah.
Like this guy, there's absolutely no question in my mind. He was on here. It's just that his lack of results. There's too much variance. Like he could have been as high as 3 possibly, or maybe as low as 5 or 6. Definitely not 4. We can say that, but like, could have been. No, I don't think he would have been 4. I don't know. It just depends. Like we don't know how things would have panned out if he kept playing Pig, because the ones that he played against Pig, it was like kind of convincing. But maybe if he had showed up more, he would have like started adapting to him and started beating him, or maybe he would have kept losing. He had one set against me that was quite close, so it's like maybe he would have kept beating me. Maybe I would have started trading sets with him. Like we don't know, and that is why we put him as the ultra honorable mention on this list.
Yeah, definitely a higher honorable mention than Lightning and Believe.
Yeah, so like if there's a Triforce dimensions, he's on top. He's on top. No offense to those guys, but we just gotta give Spike his props. It's just that he was unable to show up enough to really show that.
Well, if it's like a Triforce, wouldn't that be more? And I suppose.
Kind
Unless-
of. Well, I
unless
mean,
Courage
dude,
is
there's still one person on top of the triangle. We gotta be honest here. So
Yeah. Yeah, if it's a triangle, not necessarily a Triforce.
yeah, so there's him. So now I guess want to move on to regular PR.
Right?
My turn.
Yeah, for taking turns.
Is it okay? I guess so. So number 8 on our PR is Darwin. I hope I didn't mess that up. Now all of a sudden I'm flubbing it. Like I don't know. Yes, Darwin, the man formerly known as Easy VIP, comes in at number 8 this season. He did switch to Fox at the beginning, so we were all a bit hesitant to see how it would go. Definitely didn't like fall off super hard by any means, but we didn't quite see him get like the same big wins that we're used to seeing in previous times from him. And although like relatively consistent for the events he attended, he did attend like 8. Like it was pretty good. He also had like a few questionable losses to people like RC and I believe one to like Foshes at the end. So we felt that 8 was a fair placing for him. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean that covered Darwin pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is an 8-person PR. Darwin at number 8. So if we add those 3 honorable mention, then we get 11, which like that's a great number for PR.
Yes, 11 people.
I think this is every PR that we've done 8 people actually.
The first one was 10.
Oh,
actually.
that one was done
back in. I guess so. I guess it didn't know what it was doing.
Yeah. Well, with Darwin and with our honorable mentions, we do have a pretty significant cutoff, I would say. Hence why we elected to stop it at 8. So in picking out like how many people there are on the PR, we really do have to keep into account like, okay, well, do you really deserve to be ranked, or are you clearly within this group of people? That's something that we had to think about for picking the number.
Yeah, it was really hard to decide like how many want the PR versus honorable mentions, and like how do you take activity into account. So final decision was 8-man PR with 3 honorable mentions. Of the people on the honorable mentions who all were in that same skill group, just had activity issues was the big thing this time. Yeah, and I actually kind of baited everybody. I didn't even mean to, but I've been saying for like weeks, like, yeah, like this is definitely going to be a 10-man PR. Like I know we've done 8 in the past, but we definitely have 10 this time. But like the more I thought about it, like trimming it down was probably the best way to do it. Should have went top to bottom. I don't know what you kids are talking about. That would be like kind of not hype. Like, oh, who are we missing? Like, oh, by the way, Spike is on here. Like, come on, guys, get out of here.
Yeah, well,
Like, oh,
it's not gonna be a surprise. Um, like either going either way, really.
yeah, like you
Um,
guys are. I give you some credit. Like, you'll figure it out. I think.
yeah. Well, number 7 on the PR also joined us on the panel. That's Codeman. Um, so Codeman did pretty well. It's got those wins and losses just like everybody else. Uh, like he's proven himself certainly, but I don't know. He's kind of also stayed around that same level. He's been really solid in terms of his placings on average. Got unlucky with a couple brackets at like Jalapeno and Cayenne Smash, like versus out of region players. So that doesn't really count against him or anything. But every weekly, he's always a contender for the top spots. He
Yeah, and
just
I like to point
didn't
out,
end up
like, even
taking the
though,
big sets.
yeah, even though
Despite getting
this was
close.
like a fall PR, like, Codeman was also someone who, like, over the time of like towards end of spring and then like throughout the summer, like, he was definitely like a clear number 4 or 5, like counting like Niu Pig, GSO, and then like Codeman was clearly the fifth over the summer in my mind. Like there was no question to me. So like he showed that he was in that level for long enough, and he did take like a setter, at least a couple sets off me during that time, even though he didn't during the falls. And yeah, he had like his like losses weren't quite as like they weren't to people seeded quite as lowly as like the people who Darwin lost to. So we felt that 7 was fair for him. They had like an even head to head and stuff, so it was kind of tough to say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's always been a high seed, and he's continued to prove it. Like he doesn't have anywhere near as many like questionable placings as the people below him.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So good on Codeman then.
Yeah.
All right, coming in at number 6, my boy, we got Mancow. Let's go. the new
Yeah.
cool Falco in the region.
Quite a surprise to everybody who thought he was going to be number 7.
I know it's a big blow up to me. Like so, Mancow was someone where he was an RPI freshman, still is as a matter of fact, but he was new to the area, and he's been on the grind. Like he's been showing up to like pretty much every event he can. Like I could probably count the events he's listed locally on my hand actually, because what he missed like he missed like Cayenne and maybe a few weeklies. That's about it.
Um, I think so. Like it was really only a couple tournaments. He's one of the most active.
Yeah, he was definitely one of the most active people this season. And like we saw him start out as someone who was maybe getting like ninth or seventh, that kind of range, and he kind of steadily improved to be somebody who would be getting like fifth and fourth, and then like even second at some of the tournaments.
Yeah.
Like he was, and then as far as people like in the 6 or 8 range, he was actually the only person who took a set off of somebody in the like the top 5. He did take one set off your Falcon, so that was pretty
Yeah.
cool. And then despite having like some early issues versus like Foshes, Peach, and maybe a couple other people, he kind of like improved on that throughout the whole season. And we felt that like he was the clear number 6,
Yeah.
former number 7, but once we turned down.
Especially considering recency, like we would clearly see him this high again.
Yeah, and like he did like the active improvement the whole time. I think like which is really important in my opinion. Like to me that it doesn't necessarily show recency. It just shows like yeah, this is the trend. Like this is what's been happening, right?
Yeah. All right. So number 5, uh, we have our second Jigglypuff player on the PR. The first one technically not revealed yet.
Oh.
Haha, no, it's gonna be Pig. So, no, Toussaint is not number 5, but Pig is. He did pretty well overall. He got some good out of region results, and that always matters. You know more about that than I do, and he also although not going to as much in the last like month or two, he has a solid record against most of us. But it's just not, say, enough to put him above the other people.
Yes. So like Pig, he's one of like the few people this season who showed like, yeah, I can win a PL weekly when like, two or three of the other like big five kind of players are there. And
Yeah, I
that
think
is
he
important.
won one this season.
I think it was one because like Toussaint was very dominant this time around. So any tournament he attended, he was winning. I think you actually won the most technically because there's more
Toussaint
weeks.
probably won more than I did.
Did you? I don't know. But you won second most for sure. But
Yeah,
anyways, so like Pig had a good record versus me. It was like 4-2. Early on, it was more dominant, but then like I wouldn't say it got bad necessarily because like he only dropped two to me overall. Versus you, he didn't have the best record. I think it was 10-5 at the end of the season, but he
yeah.
showed like even in the last like week or so, he took two sets off of you. Well, actually, you both took two sets off each other. That's right.
Yeah. In the last week we went 2-2. So he won 5 sets. I won 10 sets over the season. And then him versus you, he won 4, and then you won 2. So considering recency, like the two of us went even in the last month, and you have slight advantage over him most recently.
Yeah, like out of region, he didn't do anything too crazy from what I remember, but like he had like solid showings. Like he did take a set off Hungry Pigeon at the Syracuse Smash biweekly. I can't necessarily say it was Hungry Pigeon's best showing, but that's someone he used to struggle with. So it was cool to see him beat that player. At Rumble in the Tundra, he got like 13th. He beat who was it? What's his name? The Pyro playing Marth, who's definitely like a solid old school Buffalo player, and that was pretty big. And then who else did he beat at Syracuse? I don't know. I feel like he did well against a few other people, but then also at some of the bigger events, he did have a couple questionable losses. Like he did drop a set to like Patches from Binghamton, who, no offense to my boy Peaches, but like definitely was seated below Pig for a reason. And someone else, I don't know. There's Sands, the Sheik player from Oswego, who definitely not that much worse than Pig. I know Pig kind of struggled in that matchup, but it's not someone who we expected him to lose to. So, and then the other thing was like we kind of talked about big wins for people from like that kind of range, 6 to 8. As far as like people in CR, the best player he beat was Spike, who definitely a respectable win. Like we said, Spike could have been as high as like 3, but besides that, like he did not take a set off of Toussaint. So that is kind of the reason. Those are like the reasons why he came in at number 5 this time.
Yeah.
So then, do you want me to talk about number 4?
Oh yeah.
Number 4,
The way you wanted it.
the way I wanted it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wanted it tied, man. You wouldn't agree on that though.
Oh no, I meant talking about specific people.
Oh,
I
so
checked
coming
the
in.
alternating beforehand.
Yeah, I know. So coming in at number 4, we had Zaandaa, PL's very own, my co-host in the show. Proved to be like the solid player that he's shown he has in the past. He did win second most weeklies after Toussaint, and he was one of the 2 people to take a set off of Toussaint this season. The very first set they played against each other, that was good. And then he had winning records over myself and Pig, but he did have a kind of like bad record against Spike. I think you were 0-5 at the end, so
Yeah.
that's kind of condemning. But like besides that, like I said, like pretty consistent. Like you did drop the 1 set to Mancow, but you did take the tournament, so I don't hold that too strongly. And
Never
like
forget.
what else? Do you have any other comments on your placing?
Um.
I don't
Well,
know. Just like I feel like you haven't been as active this season as in the past.
despite going to every Thursday, that is true. I have been focusing more on like, say, a jalapeno and uprising where I was running the tournament. I haven't been able to travel as much too, so I don't really
And
have any out of region results as a result.
and Super Mario Sunshine was that
Uh,
other thing you've been focusing on.
oh yeah, we'll be hearing about that more later, I imagine.
Yeah, so been on that Sunshine grind, and I don't know, probably not putting in as much practice as in the past.
That's what
So
Sunshine's for.
yeah, that's what Sunshine's for exactly.
No, but I've been going to a lot of characters this season, so it's interesting to still be up there, still winning some stuff. I've rotated a lot more, done a lot more Fox and teams, so that's why I went more Fox and singles. That's pretty pretty much the reason why I'll continue to play Fox and singles if I expect to go Fox and teams. I gotta make sure he's ready. Uh, Went plenty of Falcon, some Marth, Sheik, other stuff, but this time it'll have to be the Falcon Fox combo on the PR because I went Fox so much.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy figuring out that PR image. That's something we have not done yet, guys. Sorry. So I hate to break it to you, but don't hold your breath on that immediately.
It'll be out soon. All right. Well, coming in on number 3, I have my co-host. It turns out,
Wow.
PL boy Billz. So this guy has been doing pretty well recently. So he definitely has the recency effect working out really well for him. He's taken the last 4 sets off me, I think. And you won the last tournament, the last PL weekly or something like that. That we did that. I don't remember.
Yeah, I won the last PL I attended.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, Pig won the most recent one, and you won the one before that, I think.
Yes, we weren't at like me and Pig weren't at the same ones.
Yeah. Well, aside from that, you have been doing the most out of region, certainly. So, for comparison, like you beat Poonslayer twice, who Pig lost to, for example. Um, you know much more about your out of region results than I do, though. So feel free to brag about that, or not brag.
Poonslayer was really he was the best player I beat. I took 2 sets off him. My I'm trying to think like the losses come to mind really quickly. Like I lost to Jank, who is a pretty good buff player, I'd say. Roughly like I'd say like somewhere between Pig and Toussaint probably. Would you agree? Like somewhere in that kind of
Yeah.
range. I did drop a set to Elu, who is a Luigi from Rochester. Not like too bad of a loss, but not I wasn't too happy at the time. I can tell you that for sure. Like, and then I did lose to Nick, also from Syracuse, who he's kind of an interesting character because he's ranked 6 over there, but he picks different characters every tournament, and like he's definitely a beamer, but like he's beaten Alex 19 and Ty. So I don't know how to feel about this dude. Like he might be like really good, but like I never know. I never understand. So that was my other like big loss. And then like in region, I didn't really have any bad losses. Like worst player I lost to was like Spike or Pig, however you want to look at that. Like
Yeah, you don't have any in region
like yeah, in as far as in region, like I didn't mess up this season.
Yeah, but like Command Cow, you've only shown some steady improvement. Um, sure, there have been like those little hiccups, like a couple out of region losses, but you capped it off by resetting in grand finals versus Toussaint at the previous monthly. Um, so that was pretty neat.
Apparently, the first Marth to take a set off him.
We'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah, you will not be hearing it. At least for like a few more days. You're gonna be hearing about that shit. So excuse my French, guys. Like, so that is why I always put 3 at this one.
Yeah, like if we were to seed a tournament, this is where the seeding would be. This is pretty much how you would look at it.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
definitely
how
feel like
seeding.
myself and Zaandaa were extremely close. So I wouldn't really be too surprised either way if like we see us trading sets. Like if one of us starts beating the other one for like a week or 2, or if we're trading sets or whatever. Like I don't know. I wouldn't be too surprised. I do expect like how do I put it? Like Pig at 5, I'm pretty sure with for now. I think that kind of makes sense. And then we'll see what happens. I don't know. Toussaint's not going to be around for like a good month, so that'll be interesting. Spike won't be around for a good month. A lot of the players actually. Anyone at RPI or UA or whatever is gone, right? So
Oh yeah, our
probably
intermission.
going to be usually a less active winter. So do you want to talk about? Or no, it's my turn.
Oh,
I get to talk about the legend from Vermont. We have GSO coming in at number 2 on our PR. This man he's been a giant sad orphan for the past couple of years. Like he's been moving around like the country and stuff. The last place he settled, because I know he's been like Texas, LI, some other places, and he settled in Vermont. And this man kind of had no scene. Like that's kind of a good way to look at it, I think, right? Because he lives in Bennington, I think,
Yeah, I think
which
that's what he
is
said.
like an hour away. We're the closest Smash scene to this dude, so it's odd because he identifies as like he's New England and also upstate New York, but like CR is the closest thing he has to like his own scene. So always been a weird character with like how to rank him and stuff. But we felt that he was number 2 because like historically, he was shown to be number 1. Like he didn't really lose to me or Adam or Pig in the past,
And he still hasn't.
and yeah, he still has not lost to any of us. I did not get to play him this season, which disappointed me a bit.
Yeah,
But
but he has
anyways,
also beaten people that we haven't beaten.
yeah,
Um,
definitely. Like he also took a few sets off Poonslayer this season.
yeah,
Who I guess that's like if you want to get high in this PR, just beat Poonslayer. I
he
don't know.
won
Like that's
Jalapeno Smash.
yes, he won Jalapeno Smash.
He also
I think that was the
won
biggest tournament
the
of the
monthly.
semester. Won the monthly he attended. He got
Yeah,
second, no, he got third at Cayenne, only getting outplaced by Dudusai and DJ Nintendo.
yeah,
So everything he didn't attend that much, but I think he was 4, and then he went to at least 2 out of region things.
right.
So like the other out of region thing, he went to Retro GameCon, aka Q-Town Beatdown, in Syracuse back in November, where he beat Chess Money, Poonslayer, definitely a few other people whose names aren't coming to mind. He did lose to Diz Kid Boogie and Jmook, but those are definitely super respectable losses. So I don't know. We and then he had the one money match with Toussaint, which is super close. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we finally got them to play this past monthly.
Yes, he beat Matt.Zev Shine. That's right. That was technically the summer, but I don't know. He's someone who clearly showed himself to be a strong player from CR.
Well, it's a little bit obvious, but our strong number 1 is Toussaint.
Yeah.
He definitely earned it. He only dropped the 2 sets all season
50
long.
and 2.
Um, yeah, 50 and 2 according to just local stats. Won every tournament locally that he was in, including Uprising over T-Web, who beat GSO. Beat GSO in the money match, of course. But it's kind of funny that like he lost one set the first tournament, just the reset, and then one set the last tournament, just the reset though, or the one that causes the reset, and then he just wins the tournament anyway.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, I'm not gonna lose.
Yeah,
These are upstate kids. I'm not gonna lose. So he just decides. Besides that, if he needs anything else, the icing on the cake was this man. We took him to Rumble in the Tundra in Buffalo back in October, which was an upstate regional event, I kind of call it.
yeah,
And he did not sign up early because he didn't know he was going to like a couple days before. So he was put in the death pool of only 4 people, but one of those people was Kaon. So immediately, this man starts out the bracket in losers. He made a run through like I think it included Frogman. Is that his name? Yeah, Frogman, the Fox player from Buffalo, not to be confused with Tree Frog. And then he beat Elu, the guy I lost to. NY Joey from the city who you probably heard of. Who else? Oh my God, JKJ, IBDW. Like he beat Kaon in the run back. Like that was a crazy run. He only lost to Dreffin at the end to get eliminated for third. So definitely showed himself to be the number 1 by far.
yeah. No surprise there,
Yeah.
unless it were the other puff pig, just to
Yeah.
switch the puffs.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Well, he did who else? And then we took him to the one Syracuse biweekly on the way back where he made it all the way to winners finals, beating like who was it? I don't remember his round 1, but he beat Poonslayer and Jmook. And then after Chess Money, he gave him some special soda or something like that. He showed that he was not performing quite the same and forfeited 2 grand final sets to Poonslayer. So that's actually his worst loss in upstate, which
Wow.
is quite respectable. Or I guess or you or me is his worst loss technically, but yeah, definitely a very good season from him, and that rounds out the PR.
Yep.
If anyone has any comments, questions, want to share their thoughts, that's cool. I guess we can take a few minutes for that. Otherwise, we'll get talking about the Arcadian that's coming up.
Yeah, so about the Arcadian though, that is tomorrow. Everybody that we didn't just list, and uh, everybody that was previously PR'd, or rather, everybody we just listed, including the honorable mentions, because they're too good for an Arcadian, they cannot participate. So we're gonna talk about like the high seeds for that, um, and well, we're gonna talk about why it's not like a shoe-in for anybody, of course. Otherwise, if it were, then maybe that guy should have been PR'd.
Yeah, I guess so. So I put a little video on the chat to hold you guys over if you need anything. I guess we'll wait and see if anyone wants to talk, and then besides that, we'll get into it. Yeah, pretty much. Too drunk, too sane. Dude, Chess sabotaged us. He did it. He did it for Long Island. Like CR could have been clearly the best region of upstate New York, no question. And then like he ruined it, man. But good stuff. Watching out for LA. Gotta respect that. Wait, who's coming in? Someone. Spritznock is coming.
Trisnock actually wasn't that active
Yeah,
for the
Spritznock didn't
second
really
half.
go to much. He went to like the first two events or something, and then I didn't really see much of him at all.
I think he means Spritznock is coming to the Arcadian tomorrow. UAlbany has a few people that could do really well there. Maybe they'll bring that guy that won amateur at Uprising. Isn't he from UAlbany?
Who won amateur and uprising?
I don't
I didn't know
even
there
know
was an
his
amateur
tag.
tournament.
Um,
Wait, what? Oh, Syrup?
what?
Was it Syrup? You
I
said
don't
he
know.
was some guy from UAlbany? That'd be cool.
I heard it was UAlbany, but I wasn't paying attention to the amateur bracket because I just put someone else in charge of it. Cogs, they say. I'm pretty sure he hasn't showed up to a weekly before, so you guys should tell him to go to the weekly.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I don't know. No one wants to come in and be like, "This is an outrage." Like, I should have been on the PR. I was hoping GZ or someone would be like, "I should have been in there."
Yeah, well, we have plenty of opportunity for people to come in and talk about like I'm gonna win that Arcadian because it looks easy, and everybody's saying that.
Dude.
But only one person can win tomorrow. Who do you think it'll be, Billy?
Who do I think
What
it'll be?
what a transition.
I think the bracket wins, to be honest. Like, it doesn't. Nobody should be clearly winning it. It's all just gonna come down to who gets seeded and what to avoid this matchup they don't like.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a little bit tough to seed it fairly, honestly. Like no matter what, because if I think about it while doing the seeding, I'm like, oh well, I know that these two are gonna play, and I already have an idea like who might win or who is better at this matchup. But it's just the way it's seeded. Somebody's gonna be a 1 seed tomorrow, and they're not necessarily gonna win. Um, so I did already make a list of some people that are likely to do well, because why not? We'll go through some of those guys, and then we can pick who's gonna win. Right?
All right, let's hear it. Who's your first guy?
First person I have listed down is Training Wheels, which this is not in any particular order, by the way. But,
It's just RPI bias order. Sounds good to me.
yeah, I'll just list all the RPI people first, right?
Go
Yeah,
for
so
it, man. I guess we can go back and forth again because I have some ideas too.
Okay, well, I think Training Wheels has a good shot. He probably won't have to worry about many bad matchups as well, unless like I don't know SSK goes, and should be interesting to see how he does. Like he has winning records over people like Oshiz, I think, and
Yeah, he does well against
he's
the
definitely
Peach.
gonna practice on FD versus Space Animals.
Oh man, just
But why are you gonna play on FD versus a Space Animal? I don't think they're gonna pick the stage, and you should probably not counterpick it because they're probably going to ban it. So I always bring that up to the Marth players that love to practice their FD chain grabs and stuff. Sure, it has value in a best of 5, but are you really gonna use that in a best of 3? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. If I were him, I would just try to stay warmed up and stuff, whatever he's got to do to like be able to execute what he usually likes to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just practicing one combo over and over on a stage, you probably won't get to play. It doesn't seem that like practical or useful to me for this
Well,
kind of
any advice
situation.
that we gave any of these people really applies to all of them. Like, oh yeah, just play better,
Yeah,
as
just
someone else
like
would say.
just do your thing. You'll be good. I don't know. Like it's like you were saying. I don't think he has many problem matchups. Like he'll do fine against most of the Fox players who are attending this. And like she could maybe be an issue, but like there's like SSK, and then that's about it. Like I don't know who else is really gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I don't also know if SSK is going. He hasn't been active, but I don't know. He might come out for the Arcadian, like a few people I know are.
Yes. So Training Wheels is probably the favorite, I suppose, right?
It's
I guess that
debatable,
makes.
honestly,
I guess.
because he does
Well,
have
someone
his
else.
losses as well.
Yeah, someone
I
else I
can look
could
up the
see doing really
stats.
well is actually RC. This man, he won the PL Arcadian 2.5, I guess we can call it, like the semi Arcadian. Do you remember this weekly
Yeah,
event?
yeah.
So he kind of the thing that I think he has going for him the strongest is like character diversity to an extent. Like he mains, in my opinion, he's like Fox man, but also like he can bust out the puff when he wants to and do pretty well with it. And then he might have like, all right, that's really it. So it's Puff and Fox. Like I don't really think the other characters are gonna put in work, but yeah, he can go Fox in the matchups he thinks good, and then like Puff when he feels, and that could possibly be an issue for Training Wheels. Like I haven't seen him versus Puff in a long time. I haven't seen RC's Puff versus Marth, but I don't know. Like if he gets those rests, like that could be pretty huge.
Yeah,
What do you
last
think?
grand finals that, or rather, the grand finals that RC won was him versus Pizza in a Cup. They traded sets, I think, um, but Pizza's gotta not get up to arrested, any of that stuff. You always gotta be ready for the grabs. You gotta be very tight against Puff.
Yeah, that could be important. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Like he's someone I think he's kind of sleeper pick. You want to name the other? I think there's someone else pretty obvious.
Well, there are a few people that I think stand out more. Uh, so, can I pick 201s?
Go for it, sure.
Alright, KFJ and Sand. Both boxes. Although Sand might be trying out that Falco, I guess. But they both have comparable results, really. And they're the space animals that could do really well. Um, like, KFJ has a winning record over Codeman, for example. But he has those losses to people like Foshiz that sometimes just destroy the space animals.
I like to
Same with
say
Sand.
KFJ has proven to be the ultimate wild card as far as
Oh,
people I
yes.
know for Smash. So KFJ, he got the name King Fraud Jimmy. He used to just be Kevin, but he upgraded to King Fraud Jimmy status, to my knowledge, because at Redfish, he lost in pools when he was probably expected to make it out, but then he went back and won the amateur bracket in like a 10-game set that you can go find on YouTube. Versus August, I think that's what Lapopko is going by. And so he gets that name. And then, kind of similar, like he does well at some stuff, doesn't do so well at other things. And then the next time I remember this striking back was we go to Super Nebs, and he goes like 0-7 in his pool. I'm like, Kevin, what happened? Like you probably shouldn't have gone 0-7. Like I expected you to beat some of these people. What the heck, man? And then it's like, I don't know, man. Like my pool was hard. Like these people were better than you. Blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, shut up. Like get out of here. Pool was easy. Stop crying. Blah blah blah. So then
What if his
I'm
pool
kind
really
of
was
doing
hard,
my.
though?
Maybe it was, but I'm kind of doing my own thing. Like, I'm playing matches. I played through intermediate bracket or whatever for a bit, and watching Hacks versus Westfalls. And then he comes back up later to me and Jake. He's like, "Yo, I won the Buster bracket." We're like, "What? Like, how do you do that?" He won the Buster bracket through losers. And like, it was so crazy, dude. So that's when you got Lord King Fraud Jimmy, in my opinion. So I don't know what's gonna happen next. Like maybe he'll get upset round one of the Arcadian and then win it. I have no idea.
It's possible, certainly. Because
Anything could
like
happen.
he beat Darwin, lost to Foshiz. beat Pizza in a Cup, lost to RC. Like anything could happen tomorrow.
Anything goes. This is the Arcadian. Any, I'd also like to point out, like, if anyone wants to come in, like, share their thoughts on it, say, like, this is why I'm going to win the Arcadian. Like, we are taking guests. Just message me in the chat or on Twitch or on Facebook or something, if that is something you want to do. So you said KFJ. Who is the other guy you mentioned? Sand?
Yeah, Sand was the other one. Very comparable, I think.
Yeah, Sand was similar. He came to the CR off of kind of a big win, I'd say. Like, he beat Jank at Syracuse bi-weekly. So I was hyping this guy up. I'm like, yo, this is the Puff Slayer. Like, he's gonna be beating Pig. He's gonna be beating Toussaint. He's gonna give me these easy runs to winners finals, no problem. And like, I was hyped. Like, I expected very big things. I wouldn't say disappointed necessarily. Like, in the times he was entering Melee, like, he was usually getting like kind of 5th, 7th range. Like, he wasn't losing to too many crazy people, but wasn't beating anyone too much better either. And then he kind of like, I would say he stopped showing up to Melee to focus on like PM more. And he started doing better in PM to his credit, but like, we're not really sure what to expect coming into Melee. I know he's been playing Falco now, so that kind of worries me a little bit, to be honest, but we'll see.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily see his Falco beating a Pizza in a Cup, for example.
Yeah, or training
or
wheels.
Fauches. But maybe his Fox has a better chance sometimes. So that's gonna be up to him in a way. Like, do I go with Falco? Do I really want to see if my Falco can do it? Like, do I stick it out? Or do I just fall back to Fox?
Yeah, so Sanders is someone else who I'm expecting, like, I don't know, like, these guys kind of worry me. Like, I don't know how to put it exactly, but this was kind of like one of the reasons we weren't sure about Sand on the PR, because he kind of showed like the consistency early on, but going into this at the same time, like, I'm not even sure if he's gonna get like top 4. Like, he could get 5th or 7th or worse at this event. Like, I don't know what to expect from him. Like, I'm kind of like training wheels. I'm pretty certain he's gonna get like at least 5th. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't see him getting upset by more than a couple people.
Like, I cannot think of a bracket where it's like, oh yeah, he got 9th. Like, it just doesn't seem very likely to me. Like, Sand, like, depending on what character he plays, how he's feeling, like, if he's, because he could be in the wrong mindset and then things could just kind of tank like really badly. I'm not sure what to feel. But then who else are you thinking? So those are the two spacies.
So 2 people already mentioned, Fauches and Pizza in the Cup.
Yes.
Those are 2 other people that could win tomorrow. Certainly contenders. Fauches, of course, taking sets off all the spacies. Got that Peach stuff on lock. And Pizza in a Cup, we thought he was steadily improving for a while, and then we weren't sure about it, and then now it looks like it might be really improving again. So not totally sure if he's gonna step it up this tournament or not.
I mean, I wouldn't say he ever stopped. He just kind of, I feel like he showed up less. Maybe he didn't. Maybe that's just like my false perception. But I remember seeing this dude a lot, and then he kind of didn't. I don't. There might be a little bit of me not being quite as active, a little bit of him. But like last time I saw him, he looked fine. Like, I think he could win. Like, he looked like he was playing well. I know he's been playing with you a little bit. So
well, yesterday was like the first time for kind of a while that we played.
yeah. And then Fauches, like, yeah, Fauches has like a win over Darwin, Mancow, maybe someone else on there. I'm not sure. Like, definitely someone where he could, if the spacies aren't playing on man, like, he's got the strong punishes, so he could blow them up. I do think he's gonna struggle against training wheels though. Like, I don't think he's ever beaten him, and that could be an issue.
I can check real quick. I got the stats.
Check the ancient records.
Yeah, he's
see about
0-3
that.
against training wheels.
Yeah.
And also, so there's another person that I've listed as more of a dark horse. That's
Dark horse.
AYZ, also from RPI. He has beaten training wheels and Fauches, for example. So he's one of the only people that, might actually upset guys.
Dude, the Falcon could do it. I've seen him have like kind of close sets with Lightning, like a bunch of times. Like, I don't know if he's actually gotten the W, But like I feel like I always look over. I'm like, oh my god, this is game 3, like crazy closeness. Like, so I don't know how he does against Spaceys necessarily, but pretty decent against Marth.
Well, before Mancal kind of took off, uh, he was on the RPI TMG team. Like he did have good showing in their little ranking battle tournament at the beginning of the year. Um, so like he could do it. So could a few other people. Like Spritznock do it as well. He could also place really well.
Yeah, how does yeah, Spritznock is someone else where I guess you call him like a dark horse. Like in the past, like he's been a pretty solid player. Like not necessarily quite PR, but like right under it for a while now. And like I don't know, Falco could possibly be hard for some of the Foxes, and I think he has a decent enough handle to be beating like Foshes and Training Wheels. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of like the low level people, like they're not good at those kind of matchups, but I think he'll have enough control to like do okay versus them. And then who else? There's someone else. Jay-Z, another person who he's kind of been like that right below PR level for a while. He's a lot less active this season, but if he shows up, like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But like if he shows up to this one and just plays on, like I could also see him beating like everybody I mentioned. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
but we
saying?
haven't really seen much of that this season, unfortunately.
Yeah, just he didn't show up. He kind of well, the only thing that worries me with Jay-Z is like he almost kind of showed to develop like a Falco problem. Like Code, so he was someone who wasn't really losing to Codeman early on. So much so that he was making fun of me and other people. Like, oh, he lost to Pichu. Like, he lost this character. I just beat him with Fox. LOL. Like, and then my dude Codeman said, "No, I'm done with that." He went Falco and busted out his Falco, which pretty not his main, but it is pretty solid. And like, yo, he's just like started beating Jay Z like really badly. So I don't know like what's gonna happen against like someone like Pizza in a Cup or Spritznock or other people.
Well, he has lost
Like
those sets.
yeah, he's lost them like a bunch. Like even Downvote back in the day, like Downvote used to give him a lot of problems. And but Jay Z actually is an Arcadian champ. I'll point that out real quick too. At Smashing Cookies, aka the second Arcadian, he won that over Codeman and he upset Downvote in the process, which at the time it was surprising at the time because he was struggling against Falco.
Yeah, those three and Lightning were like a kind of clear top 4 for that Arcadian.
Yeah, that one was crazy. And there was like a legit like counter pick war triangle going on, like Lightning and Codeman. It was nuts.
Yeah, Lightning was probably the 1 seed going into it, and we weren't so sure about Codeman because like he hadn't
He
really
was
had
new to
any.
the area at the time. He was just the
Um,
Pichu from Tennessee.
yeah, and then Codeman ends up beating Lightning, and Jay Z ends up beating Downvote. So, wow.
Yeah, no Brolita allowed. Mask would be allowed though, in my opinion. That'd be awesome, dude. If Brad just showed up tomorrow, like, yo, what's up, guys? I'm busting out this new Fox. Like, I'm ready to go. That'd be sick, dude. Brad, if you show up, I'll just pay you the winnings out of my pocket. It'll be sick.
Might be
Who
worth
else?
it.
Who are some other people? Some other people who I would say not exactly favorites to win it. Like I wouldn't say how I put it. Like they could
They have,
potentially they could upset some people and do well, but I would not. I'd be very surprised if they won. I'll put it like
yeah, because
that.
that would
Like,
involve them beating everybody, really.
they'd have to upset like 3 or 4 people who they have not been at least consistently beating in the past. So people like this include like Rose, Peach player who he had a win over. Did he beat Sand? I know he had a close set versus Sand.
I don't think he beat it.
Yeah, there was definitely a very close call with Sand and and Rose from what I remember. I could see like him doing well. Who else? Like Slurm maybe if Slurm puts in work. Xeon maybe depending on like what character Xeon goes. If he can kind of like get focused and do his thing. Like can't put the Falco player. Potentially get like top 8. I should look at brackets because that would give me a pretty good idea of who else is gonna show up.
Maybe
I,
Beetle.
I want to say my boy 3-Man Weave from Siena, but he has a final going on, so he is not going to get his chance to like, have a breakout performance in Capital Region, unfortunately. Who else? Who's another? I know there's like other people I'm forgetting. I'm really sorry, guys. Like,
Raven, if he shows up,
yo,
has a chance.
Raven is the ultimate dark horse, but he could definitely do that.
The first Arcadian that we ever did was Raven versus Burst Mode Grand Finals.
Yes, I do remember this. And did he end up trying to go Mario or did he do Fox to those?
I wasn't watching this set. But
Yeah, well, that was. I think that was pre-stream days, or
I
maybe
think
it wasn't
was Fox
pre-stream,
to
but it wasn't that night.
Like that was one of the only, or Raven was primarily a Falco at the time, but that was the first time that we really saw Fox.
Yeah, so I think he went. I think he tried Fox to those. Maybe he went Mario, but we saw Burst Mode. Shout out to that dude, the Pokemon Puzzle League champ of the area. He is the first Arcadian champ, and he is not allowed to enter again because he did get PR previously. I want to pull up a bracket and see like I don't want to like forget anyone. You know what I mean? Like I want everybody to get their shout out. Craft. How did we forget Craft?
Well, he only went to one thing.
Okay, so that's how we forgot.
We don't even know if he's gonna show up tomorrow.
You want to talk about him for a minute?
Well, he did actually beat Lightning and Sand last week. He's from Skidmore College, number 2 there, right after Slurp. Slurp, that's without an M. Slurp used to be active locally, but doesn't really play as much anymore. And doesn't.
Yeah, he was power ranked.
Yeah, so like he's ineligible tomorrow. But Lightning did also win the run back against Kraft, so we're not totally sure how he would do against more people, because he really only played a few. There is a chance that he is actually just better than other people here, and as a result, he could even win. But he'd have to prove it against a lot more people, and well, he's allowed, because I have a feeling that he'll have to work for it against, say, Training Wheels or and Cup. And bullshit. He and Unanimous were the 2 Skidmore players that showed up last week.
Yeah, who else? We got Sub, Space Jam. Yo, Dandy. I would love to see Dandy take it. That'd be so hype. Oh my god. Like, I could just will anyone to win it and be like, all right, God, like, just do me this favor. Like, I would be like, give Dandy Man your strength to like give people the punch. Like, that'd be awesome, right?
Ganon winning would be really.
That'd be sick. That'd be so sick. Yo, maybe if ZB shows up, ZB could potentially do well.
Yep.
Remember him?
Well, I mean, he's gone to a lot more recently.
Yeah, dude. He got seeded 7th a few weeks ago, so I could definitely see him taking one. Who was even playing? Because he was another person who couldn't really pick a character for the longest time.
I mean, I guess I've seen a few characters now, but it's
like
been,
Mars, Puff. He went Puff against me because he's like, "Oh, you're bad against Puff." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. You're right." Like, I beat him, but it was kind of close.
DQB, another one of those RPI players. We have that Solix / Rockhawk guy in the chat too. That he has a chance.
Yeah, he definitely like to show why he is worthy of being on the pro circuit. No question there. Anyone else who like I really don't want someone to be like, oh, well, you didn't mention this person. Like anyone in the chat, if you have any ideas, let me know. Come on.
We just have to not mention everybody so that we don't have to mention absolutely everybody.
Do we have to? If they've ever entered a PL tournament, we gotta mention them, or else we're gonna get blown up.
Well, we got a few Smash 4 people that are gonna come by. I hear.
That's true. Oh, Grunk is coming through, right? Yep. Yo, Grunk could win. Have you played him in Melee?
It'll be tough for him, but yeah.
Dude, he's actually like not bad at Melee. Like I think he's pretty good. He was going Puff, I think.
Yep.
And people could struggle. Like I feel like Puff is just like people are gonna struggle against that character. Let me think. Blue, the Fox player. Maybe he could beat a few people, at least get like top 8. Like I said, like anybody after that first wave of people, like them winning is gonna be tricky because like I don't know, they'd have to beat everybody. Like the stars have to align. Like they'd have to win like 5 or 6 matches most likely, unless they do it through winners, then it's a bit less. But
Someone like Cash
it's
Money as well,
yeah,
who
like
like
cash.
he showed some promise over like the summer and early fall, but it hasn't really gone to as much.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where like if everything can come together, like a lot of these people could do well. Beetle, of course, you know, he did take the set off of Burlita, an honorable mention. And so if you're taking a set off the second best guy at RPI, like there's definitely a good chance you could at least get like top 3 at the Arcadian, in my opinion. And I don't know, that's about it in my opinion. Like unless anybody else has any thoughts they want to share, like we're just about done, I think.
Yeah, we've mentioned before that we're open to guests, but you guys
So we could either do
gotta
guest
join
or
us.
Q and either do guest or Q&A, or if that's about it, then we can wrap it up.
Yeah, so ask us whatever you want, not like whatever you want,
Not whatever you want, but you know what I mean.
related to
But,
this kind of stuff, I guess.
yo, Mr. MR, if he shows up, like sorry to bring this back up again, but like
Yeah, it's fine.
if Mr. MR shows, he's a pretty decent Falcon.
We talk about this. It's easy to just hang out and talk. I think that's Jason in the chat.
Yeah, there's no. You want to wrap it up then?
Alright, well, that concludes the episode, I suppose, for the most part.
Yeah,
We'll
we keep
stick
the
on
stream
for a
going
little
for a
while.
little bit, but
Yeah.
like there's no point in like having extra like fat on the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So,
So,
anyways, if you're listening to this via like VOD form or whatever, it's been awesome. Check out the Arcadian tomorrow at what 8:15 p.m. at
yeah,
twitch.tv
singles will
slash
start
pastime
at,
legends.
yep, singles starts 8:15. Um, we're doing this bi-weekly on Wednesdays at 7:30. And by bi-weekly, I mean we actually alternate each game each week. So this week is Melee, next week is Smash 4. So, thanks for watching.